What's going on, Guardians? TBL here, and the Destiny 2 beta has concluded. It's over, and man, boy do I miss it. We're a few days out from the official launch of Destiny 2, and I figured it's finally time for me to just sit down and make a quick video talking about the Destiny 2 PC beta, the experience of playing it on PC, how well it performed, what I liked about it, what I'd like to see changed, just kind of give you guys my overall thoughts on the Destiny 2 PC open beta. And oh man, do I miss it. Call of Duty World War II has literally got nothing on this. The second weekend multiplayer beta for that started up basically right after the Destiny 2 PC beta went offline. And I have absolutely no desire to play it, like none. All I want to do is hop right back onto my PC and play more Destiny 2, and I can't, and it's driving me nuts right now. I'm so happy that Destiny 2 is officially going to be launching next week on Wednesday, but man, waiting until October to play the PC version again is going to be really difficult, and that should be your first sign that Destiny 2 on PC was a pretty great experience. You guys got to see it. We streamed a few full days of it, and oh man, was the PC beta really well crafted. You really have to give a hand to both Vicarious Visions and Bungie for creating a truly excellent experience on the PC platform. There was a lot of worry about how exactly the game would play, whether or not it would just kind of be, a copy-pasted port and, have a lot of the issues that a lot of Activision-produced games do on PC, but that was absolutely not the case with Destiny 2. It was a really smooth, really gorgeous experience. The game looks great, it plays great, and we're just going to talk a little bit about some of those, some of the performance focuses from Destiny 2. First things first, it plays great, and it plays great on a variety of builds. Throughout the week, I had several people send me their builds and talk about their experience with Destiny 2. Of course, I was playing it on my personal rig. It's got a GTX 1080 Ti, great graphics card. I'm running off of a Ryzen 1700X as my CPU, overclocked about as high as that thing can go. So I'm on a fairly high-end build, and it definitely showed. I was able to live stream and play at 4K basically on my PC, of course streaming at 1080p, since I don't think Twitch and YouTube really like being streamed at 4K, but I was able to play it at 4K while live streaming, while live encoding and recording footage, and still maintaining a frame rate above 60 FPS most of the time. The only time it ever dropped beneath 60 is during some really intense areas where there's a lot of gunfire going on, like in the Homecoming mission when you meet up with Zavala, and there's all those waves of Cabal coming at you. During my live stream, that's one of the times I dropped below 60. During the strike, every now and again it happened. But when I wasn't live streaming, when I was just playing the game, this thing, Destiny 2, did not go underneath 100 frames per second. This game is so well optimized. You just tweak around with a few of the settings in there. There were a couple of issues with stuff like MSAA, but really from the ground up, it's just what a well optimized game. This thing ran like an absolute dream, and I really think you got to give it up to Bungie for that. Seriously, people were running Destiny 2 competently on like toasters. I actually saw a thread on the Destiny 2 subreddit of somebody getting the game to run on like an old Pentium 4 processor and getting up above 30 frames per second pretty consistently, which is a good sign. Definitely a well-optimized game. It'll run on a lot of different PCs, and it ran really well on mine. Control-wise, it handles like Destiny. It felt really smooth. The game absolutely feels better at 60 frames per second than it does at 30. I mean, I'm sorry to all my console brothers and sisters out there. I'll still be playing it on PS4 primarily, since that's where most of my friends are, but it is an objectively better experience on PC, and this was proven in spades throughout the open PC beta. The game just plays so smoothly, it's like it was born to play at 60 FPS or above. And I'm glad we certainly have that option with PC, but it makes me kind of feel really bad for console players, because those out there who don't have a PC that's capable of playing Destiny 2, man, I just kind of wish I could explain to you how different and how much smoother of an experience it is at 60 FPS. But of course, again, it's not to say that the game playing at 30 is a bad experience. I love the way the game played on the console beta. It was a great experience, but it's like I've kind of been ruined now because I understand what it's like to have this game at just all of the frames, and you could certainly get them all with D2. Content-wise, there's really not too much to say there. It's the same content as the previous console beta. Only real change there, of course, is the Javelin 4 map, which I like. I like Javelin 4. It's basically flank route the map. There's so many different lanes in there. So it feels like a really dynamic map. There's a lot of ways to kind of get around, sneak into pivot points and take A or C. And for once, it was kind of weird. It was a control map where B wasn't always the focal point of battles. In my time playing, and even in some of the gameplay you guys are going to be seeing here, I spent most of the time just pivoting spawns, jumping from A to C, A to C, A to C, keeping other teams on tilt. And it actually, this map, it's really interesting. It actually provides a bit of a spawn trap utility there. If you can manage to capture the pivots, the A flag and the C flag, you can actually keep people spawning on B, and that keeps them really off center. It's a great way to kind of shake things up in control. Overall, very fun map. I really can't wait to play Supremacy on it. Between the close-up sections in the middle with like the kind of structure that's there that you can kind of jump and dive behind, and then like the long range sniper lane sight lines on the sides, yeah, I think it's going to be a great Supremacy map if and when that game mode comes back in D2. But overall, it's a fun map. I enjoyed it. And really, that's kind of the theme of this entire video. I enjoyed just about everything on the PC version of the game. I did notice some people were having a few problems. There seemed to be some kind of mouse acceleration issue going on with some people where it was causing crazy stutters for them if they were using mouse and keyboard. And of course, if you had VSync on and you were using a controller, that introduced a little bit of input lag. It wasn't anything too terrible, but that could mess you up just a little bit if you're playing in a high-stress situation like PvP or in Countdown or something like that. But speaking of Countdown, I didn't touch it at all during the D2 beta. I just mostly stayed to the Strike and to Control. But thankfully, those two modes were pretty darn good. The Strike is beautiful in 4K at 60 FPS. That final boss encounter, when you get down there with all the lighting effects going on PC, it's just an absolutely gorgeous arena. And it really goes to show you Bungie's fantastic vision with this game. It almost makes me really wish that Destiny 1 was on PC, because if they released it now, I would probably go back and play Destiny 1 on PC just to experience what the game would look like and play like at 60 FPS. Because again, it is just a fantastic experience over on PC. Not a perfect experience, there were some issues. Of course, some of the video or visual effects are kind of messed up. MSAA, if you were running that option in the visual settings, it kind of tanked your frame rate a bit, and they admitted that was a little bit broken at the time. That and depth of field seemed to really impact a lot of people's performance. If you were running depth of field on the highest setting, that was a frame eater as well. And of course, some of the old classic Destiny problems are still apparent. The peer-to-peer system in PvP it definitely caused a few issues. While on the whole, most of my matches in PvP were pretty solid, there were one or two times where I went up against somebody who was obviously dropping a lot of frames, dropping a lot of packets, and they were a little difficult to kill. We're talking about that classic Year 1 teleporting all across the battlefield, completely unkillable hunter with a shotgun or something like that. And of course, you know, PvP is going to be really interesting in Destiny 2 since you have the prospect of different rigs, different builds. Everybody's going to be running on a different system, and they're not always going to, you know, be able to keep up their frame rates. Some people who are on lower end systems aren't going to be able to maintain 60 FPS, and people who are able to maintain 60 FPS and beyond are going to have a little bit of an advantage, competitively speaking, over those people with who really can't keep that frame rate up. Let me tell you, man, while streaming and recording this and playing some PvP, it kind of really hurts your chances in PvP when you're in a firefight with somebody and your frames drop from like 60 to 70 down to like 30 to 40. It's kind of jarring, like, whoa, a little bit of screen tearing going on there, and you can lose a gunfight or two. But that's a normal feature of pretty much every PC game, so that's not really too much of a knock against Destiny 2. And again, the game is so well optimized, it plays great on so many different builds that I don't really see that being too much of a problem moving forward. Control-wise, the game played great whether you were playing with mouse and keyboard or controller. I was actually really surprised by how well controller translates to Destiny 2 on the PC. It feels exactly like it does on console. And of course, some of that does have to do with the aim assist there. And man, aim assist did cause quite a rumble in parts of the community. Some people hate it, some people love it. I thought it worked pretty well for for what it was supposed to be doing in the game. I played with both mouse and keyboard and controller on stream, and I didn't really have too much trouble either way. Some people are saying aim assist is a little bit too strong, and it was definitely strong on stuff like the hand cannon. Woo, those hand cannons, the better devils, I think. That thing felt like a year one hand cannon. Boy, was it snappy, boy did it hit hard, and oh boy did it feel good. And that seems to be ruffling some feathers amongst the PC community. Some people saying that having aim assist on controller is a little bit unfair. I don't really think the controller aim assist was too strong for controllers. There is a problem there with like the Zim 4s for people who are going to be using hardware that emulates controllers and then using mouse and keyboard with that. That kind of is a little bit shady, since it gives those Zim 4 users access to aim assist because the game thinks they're playing with a controller, but they're really playing with mouse and keyboard, and it kind of turns into a little bit of aimbottiness. But other than that, yeah, I didn't really notice too much of an issue playing with mouse and keyboard versus playing with controller. It actually felt like a pretty smooth experience, and I gotta say, I dig it. And really, ultimately, that's how I feel about the game as a whole. Destiny 2 just feels really good on PC, and I am absolutely, utterly convinced now that the PC version of the game is going to be the definitive experience for Destiny 2. When I sit back and I try to think of stuff like what patrols are going to be like, what the European Dead Zone's going to look like, what the raid's going to look like on PC, oh man, just knowing how the game plays and knowing how good it looks while you're playing it from the open beta, it's going to be an incredible experience when this thing finally comes out towards the end of October. And really, I gotta say, Bungie, you guys did a fantastic job. Vicarious Visions, the company that was outsourced to kind of help build Destiny 2 from the ground up for PC, you guys did an amazing job optimizing this game for the PC platform. For your first foray with Destiny into PC, this is an incredible offering, and for anybody out there who's got a PC that can handle it, I would absolutely recommend getting it. But anyways, that's it, Guardians. Those are some of my overall thoughts on the Destiny 2 PC Open Beta. I think I touched on just about everything. There were a couple of little things like balance changes between the console beta and the PC beta. Enemies were easier to kill. There were less enemies overall in the PC game. I don't know if that's going to be something for the full release, but weapons dealt more damage. That felt great. Grenade cooldowns were tuned a little bit. Super cooldowns were so much better. There were times when, like, I was playing with Radiant Duke and we were chaining supers in PvE and it felt fantastic. Kind of almost as good as Destiny 1 is with some of those better team builds. And of course, like I said, weapons deal more damage, so that felt nice. Everything didn't feel too bullet spongy. Grenades hit way harder. And power ammo, thank the Lord, power ammo is dropping way more often. I hope that kind of stuff translates to the full game, because it felt way better in PvE than it did with the some of the balance issues between supers and cooldowns and grenades and all that kind of stuff with the console beta. It was definitely better in the PC beta, and I hope that's indicative of what we're going to be getting next week on Wednesday. But alright, there we go, Guardians. What did you all think of the Destiny 2 PC beta? Did you watch my streams? What did you guys think? If you haven't had a chance to play it, well, man, I hope you can wait until October 24th, because it's going to be rough going from the PC version to the console version, then back to the PC version. But either way, I am so excited for Destiny 2. This is really proving to be a fantastic gaming experience, and I can't wait to get my hands on the full game next week, Wednesday, September 6th, 12 a.m. It's going to be a good time. But alright, I'm out for now. Thanks so much for watching, Guardians. I love your faces. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see some more stuff from me. And if you're feeling like supporting the channel, there is a Patreon link in the description that you can check out. But alright, I'm out for now. Thanks so much for watching, Guardians. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.